If you are new, my name's Keith. I'm a meditation teacher, as you might have guessed. And we've been doing these weekly Wednesday meditations to introduce people to overall what is meditation? What can it do for us? How do we do it? What is it like? How can we benefit from it? Right? So we cover a lot of different topics, a new topic each week. And this topic today is how to build a meditation routine. Meditation routine is really, really important for us to do this consistently and to start to see some of the benefits that we've been cultivating over the last number of months, right? That we've been starting to come here. Can you guys hear me okay? I was having trouble with my mic a little while ago, so I just want to make sure I'm not talking into the void. So if you are new, the way this session is going to work is we're going to talk a little bit about. Sounds good. Okay, thanks. We're going to talk about what meditation is in general, right? Because there's a lot of people that are new, and even if we're not new, and you can hear me, great, thank you. Even if you're not new, this is a good reminder, right? Why are we doing this? Like, what is meditation in general? Oh, thanks, Abby. Appreciate it. And then we're going to do a little breathing meditation after that, right? Because that's kind of like our intro into meditation in general, breathing meditation. Maybe you've done that before, even if you're new. And then we're going to talk about our topic. We're going to talk about building a routine, and then we're going to do a meditation specifically designed to kind of deepen our understanding of the importance of building a routine for meditation. Nice shirt. Hello from Australia. Oh my God. Welcome. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's so cool to have so many different people from all over the world come here for this. So thank you. It's probably quite early there, isn't it? So what is? Before we go into what is meditation, please ask me questions. Like that is the whole reason why I wanted to start to do these live streams, is so you can ask questions in real time about am I doing this right? What should be going on here? That's things you don't get when you're doing like a pre-made video or, like an app or something like that. So feel free, fire questions away. I'll answer them as often as I can. 10:30 a.m. Don't put you to sleep. I'll do my best. You got a whole day ahead of you. So what is meditation, right? We hear it's like kind of like become a little buzzwordy, right? Mindfulness, meditation, mindfulness, whatever. Meditation is essentially, where do I buy my shirts? H&M, I think. I don't know. Meditation is about familiarity. It actually is kind of synonymous with the word familiarize. Meditation is a technique for familiarizing ourselves with something, right? What we want to familiarize ourselves is kind of up to us, but ideally we want to familiarize ourselves with good things, happiness and joy and relaxation and things like that. Usually things that we're not too familiar with, right? That's the whole point. We're trying to familiarize ourselves with those things and kind of move aside the bad versions of those, right? Anger, jealousy, depression, anxiety, things like that, right? So it's a technique. It's a learning tool, right? And there's kind of like two parts to meditation. There's the learning piece, which is what we were just talking about here, right? Investigating our own mind, investigating why we're getting anxious and things like that, and to try to come to some logical conclusions about those. And there's the part that comes before that, where we have to actually relax, because if we're not relaxed, then we're not very good at investigating things. Just like if you're stressed out at work, you're not very productive, right? You're like freaking out. It's the same thing. So breathing meditation is what we do initially to relax ourselves, to set ourselves up to investigate something, right? And today we're going to investigate the importance of doing a routine, making a routine for meditation, right? But a good analogy, hey Chris, Rob, question, meditation routine, also yoga routine, often described under similar circumstances. Why? Meditation and yoga are different forms of trying to kind of achieve something similar, right? And we'll talk a little bit about this in a second, but the way we do breathing meditation is we engage in single-pointed concentration, right? It's a fancy way of saying focus on one thing. I held up two hands, but it's actually, okay, that was really confusing. One thing, not two things. So with meditation, we focus on our breathing, right? We're focusing so much on our breathing that the other thoughts that are normally bouncing around our head, the worries and whatnot, they start to fade into the background. Similar if you've ever been in the zone, like at work, you know, that like kind of cliche thing that we say, being in the zone. You know, you're working on something really hard and you lose track of time and you don't hear people call your name. All those distractions that are normally there, they're not there anymore. So that's really what we're going to intentionally try to do with breathing meditation. Now, yoga does something very similar. They're kind of single-pointedly concentrating on movement. I'm not a yoga instructor, so like take what I say is like with a grain of salt. I specialize in meditation, but it's a similar concept. We're focusing on something so exclusively that all the worries and stuff start to fade into the background. Does that make sense? As to like the meditation versus yoga, they're similar. And even, you know, in some yoga classes, we even do a little investigation into our mind. But here we're doing it. It's a huge part of it. It's a massive part of it. So I think that's like one of the main differences, right? So that is what we're going to do with breathing meditation. And the analogy I always like to use, if you're new, hopefully this hits home, is imagine you have a very still lake, right? Very calm, peaceful lake. You can see the reflection in the lake quite clearly. But if raindrops start to fall, the lake reflection is not so easy to see, can't describe it as well. Our mind is normally like this still lake, right? Very calm, very peaceful, very happy, joyous. All the distractions that are bombarding us throughout the day, they're like raindrops, and they start to make it hard for us to continue to be happy, to see things clearly, to think objectively, to be reasonable about the things that are going on in our life, to not panic. So breathing meditation is going to help us clear away some of the raindrops, Very important to not try to do all of them right away, even though that's ideally what we would love to have happen. But even if we clear away, I'm having trouble speaking, like 10% of the raindrops, we can see the reflection more clearly, right? Same with our mind. If we can clear away 10% of our distracting thoughts, we're going to be that much happier, that much more calm, that much more reasonable. So that's kind of like the overall explanation as to what breathing meditation is, why it works, and then that leads into our investigation portion of meditation. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure everyone's on the same page. Like I'm not expecting that you have a full grasp of it, but like, you know, overall, does that concept make sense? And we can kind of get behind it, then I think that's where we want to be. And, you know, for meditation, even in yoga, a lot they do, we're going to focus on our breath. And we're going to focus on our breath because our breath is always with us, right? And this is a huge part of meditation, realizing that we don't need special circumstances to meditate and to meditate well, right? We have everything that we need to meditate right with us right now. Right? Just by focusing on our breathing, we can become more calm. We can become more peaceful. Right? Pruning your mind of negative thoughts, like pruning your plant to get rid of bad branches. I love that analogy. I also need gardening tips because I constantly kill every plant I have. So if you have any of those, fire it away. But that is a great analogy. Exactly. Totally. So that's what we're doing here. Okay. And we're going to do that right now. So if this is your first time doing any sort of meditation, breathing meditation is exactly where you should be starting. So you're coming in at a great time. You don't need to change anything. Okay. If you're laying down, great. If you're standing up, power to you. If you're sitting down, that's what I'm doing. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing is perfect. You don't need to change anything. Okay. And we're just going to focus on our breathing. You're going to pay attention to what I'm saying and follow along. We're going to focus on our breathing. And then when we're not focusing on our breathing, we notice that our mind has drifted into thinking about, I don't know, something that happened earlier or something that we got to do later. We're just going to bring it back. We're like, acknowledge it, and we're going to bring it back. And we're going to just do this over and over again. And eventually, we're going to be able to stay on our breath longer and longer. And we're going to start to notice that we're feeling a little more calm, a little more peaceful. We're going to relax a little bit. And that's where we want to be right now. We want to relax our mind a little bit so we can then use our relaxed mind productively to investigate something, right? We're going to do a counting breathing meditation. We do a couple different ones here. I try to mix it up because everyone connects with something different. So we're going to do a counting one. And this is really good if you're extremely anxious or revved up or your mind is like just super busy. This is a really good one for that. It's what I use if I'm really super anxious. Okay, so sit comfortably. Step one, or laid out or whatever, but don't fall asleep. Our friends in Australia. So just be comfortable. That's the first thing we have to do. We have to be comfortable with our body, and then we'll be able to be more comfortable in our mind. So just be comfy and close your eyes and follow along with what I'm saying. So when we start meditating, the first thing we want to do is check in with ourselves. How are you feeling right now, in this moment? Aches, pains, feeling good, happy, sad, anxious, excited, whatever it is, it does not matter. All that matters is you notice it. You may have heard the word mindfulness before. Mindfulness is noticing what your mind is doing moment to moment. And this is what we're practicing here. So just notice how you're feeling right now. And having checked in with ourselves, we can turn our attention to our breathing. We can breathe gently in and out through our nose. Very natural. We don't need to take deep breaths or forceful exhalations. Very natural. In and out. We can pay attention to the sensations of breathing itself. The cool air as we breathe in. The warm air as we breathe out. Our shoulders rising and falling with each breath. Allow yourself to relax. Sometimes when our mind is especially busy, it can be helpful to count our breaths. This is called a counting meditation. So now, every time you breathe in and then out, we're going to say 1 in your head, then in and out, 2, in and out, 3. See how high you can count before you lose track of what you're doing, before you lose track of what number you are on, or you notice your mind drifts, and then just start over from 1 again. In and out. Very gentle. Maybe you notice your attention is no longer on your breath, or you forgot what number you were on. If that happens, just bring your attention back to your breath and start again at 1. In and out. Allow yourself to relax into your breath. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath, back to counting as many times as necessary. This is meditation. You are meditating. You are training your mind to relax, to be peaceful, all on your own. How wonderful. In and out. Enjoy sitting here. Enjoy breathing. You have nowhere else to be, nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. Just enjoy being here in this moment. In and out. Okay, and when you're ready, you can relax. You can open your eyes and stop counting. Unless you love counting so much, you'd like to just continue indefinitely. How'd that go? How do you feel? Was it tough? Easy? Medium? Not sure. One of the most common things that people find when they start meditating, they start doing breathing meditation, is they say, my mind is busier when I meditate, right? Well, actually, we're just kind of noticing how busy our mind is all the time. Right? We normally just kind of follow along with whatever our mind is doing. We're along for the ride, right? We're along for the ride. And this kind of helps us get back into control, right? We're going to get back into the driver's seat, so to speak. Your mind is not busier when you meditate. You're just noticing how busy it is all the time, how exhausting that can be. Not easy, always tough, but it always helps. Yeah, it takes time. And the reason why it's hard is because you're not familiar with doing this. We are trained to not do this, right? Remember multitasking? You ever hear that word? Right? We're trained to think that multitasking is the be-all, end-all. It's what makes us super productive and whatever, right? And, and multitasking is good for accomplishing tasks in our daily life, I suppose, but it is not good for being calm, for being peaceful. And so we've spent a very long time training in multitasking, and we've spent zero time training in single-pointed concentration. So that's why it is tough. I've been with you for 6 weeks, and it's actually easy now. I'm so happy to hear that. See, that is such a, remember that, okay? Remember that, because there might be times where it's not easy. It's just how life goes, right? But remember that you can do this, that you've seen the benefits, that you have been able to relax yourself. It's there. It's there. You can always access it. I'm so happy for you. Thank you. Thank you for that. That was great. So if anyone has any more questions about breathing meditation in general, what the heck I was talking about, feel free to ask me at any time. Don't worry about interrupting me. It's fine. Just, if you're not comfortable chatting it now, you can leave a comment on the video, or you can email me individually, keith@meditationbreaks.com. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. But now we're going to go on to our topic, right? So we've relaxed our mind a bit, and we've kind of set ourselves up to investigate something. We're in step 2 of meditation, right? We've relaxed ourselves, and now we're going to use our relaxed mind productively to think about something, familiarize ourselves with something. And the thing we're going to discuss and think about now is why a meditation routine is important. Is it? And how do we set ourselves up to have a meditation routine? This actually will work for other things, not meditation, just like how to do something consistently in general. But we're focusing on meditation here, obviously. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, but to reiterate, making a routine for meditation is really important for a couple reasons. One, it makes us familiar with the activity of meditating, right? Like if we wanted to learn how to ski, right? And we're like, okay, and we go to the mountain and we rent all our equipment and we take a lesson and it's great. And then we're like, okay, and we don't ski for 3 years. Well, when we come back to ski again, we're probably gonna have to start over, right? We forget kind of the things that we've learned. The muscle memory is not there for us, right? It's the same thing with mental familiarity. If we're doing things kind of on and off, we're not going to build up that familiarity with the activity itself. Like think about if you're cooking. I like this analogy. Like if you're like have a bunch of vegetables in a pan, you turn the heat on to full blast, and you put the pan on the stove. Put my hand on the camera. Put the pan on the stove, right? Okay, leave it there for a little while. Okay, I'm gonna take it off now, and then I'll come back in 2 weeks and I'll put it back on. That's never gonna cook, right? But if you turn it on low and you put the pan on there and you kind of let it go for a little bit, it's going to cook eventually. Maybe it'll take a little while, but it's going to cook eventually, right? So this is what we want to get in the habit of doing with our routine. We want to do it consistently to see the results, right? That's how we're going to see the results. And it also makes the activity of meditating kind of normal for us. It normalizes it. Right now, it does not feel very normal. We have to force it into our daily life, right? We have to find time. How am I going to find time, right? We got to kind of cram it in there, right? If we can build a routine, that is not the case anymore, right? It is just natural. It's part of our routine, right? We gravitate towards doing it easily. It becomes effortless to engage in meditation. It's just part of us. It's part of our life, right? And then we start to actually kind of find some joy in it, right? Because we're not trying to force it in there, and this is how we gain insight, kind of the third reason why routines are really important. At first, we're probably going to spend a lot of time just trying to relax with breathing meditation to get our mind to be not busy, right? Even when we're talking about it here, it's not easy, right? We have to train. It's going to take time. If we do it consistently, we'll be able to get good at that. Kind of like Crystal was saying, right? It's easy now. Now she is able to settle down quickly, and now she can get into like investigating the things that are bothering her quickly. We can gain insight into our lives. Right? So these are just kind of 3 things to keep in mind why this is important. We have to know why we're doing this. Why is this important, or we're not going to do it, right? Then we got to think about how. How are we going to do this? This is the hard part, right? I mean, anytime we're trying to introduce a routine into our lives, something new, it's quite challenging, like exercise routine. I've been getting better at that. It's still challenging. So is it a good idea to, throughout the day, notice your thoughts and body sensations and do mini meditation breaks to calm your mind? I have been trying to do that in everyday activities. Ideally, yes, that's wonderful. It's brilliant. It's beautiful. But at first, we don't want to bite off more than we can chew. And this is a huge thing we're going to talk about today. Everyone's different. Right? So if you're able to do that, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. But, we might not be able to get there right away, and that's fine. We might only be able to dedicate once a day for 30 seconds, and that's it. And that is totally fine. So when we're talking about building a routine, we have to kind of think about, well, what works for me? What is going to make this achievable, right, for myself? And the first thing we can do to help that is kind of pick a project, I like to say. Like if you've been coming for a while, you know that we talk about something new every week. There's infinite things that we can meditate on, right? This class is sort of like a cookbook of meditation. Isn't that crazy though? Once a week for 30 seconds, it's still difficult. Exactly. That is how not familiar we are with doing this, right? Because really no one's ever taught us to do this. We've been taught the opposite. So we have to retrain our mind, and we got to do it in baby steps. But yeah, that's a beautiful realization to have too. Wow, this is crazy how difficult this is for my mind to do this. I have to train hard to do this, right? So we got to pick a project, right? This class is sort of like the cookbook, right? There's a ton of different recipes in here, but you should perfect one recipe before trying to learn the entire cookbook in like a perfect capacity, right? So we got to pick a recipe. And you might be like, well, how am I going to do that? There's so many things. We can think about a couple different things to try to help us identify where we want to start, right? Well, one is to think about what brought you here, right? Why are you here? Not on Earth. Like, why are you here in this class? You clicked register and, you've come back for, repeatedly. Why? What brought you here? What was the thing that brought you here? It's an interesting thing to think about, right? Because maybe that's what you want to focus on, because that'll motivate you, right? I got into meditation for anxiety. I wanted to stop having anxiety control my life, right? And so I was very motivated to build a meditation routine around that, because anxiety was such a painful part of my life, right? So that was my reason why I got here. That was my project, right? Crystal, remember when we had tantrums when we were little and our parents said, just breathe and count to 10. I thought, why? They were teaching us meditative techniques and I didn't even know it. That's wonderful. That's beautiful, right? And we can be grateful for them for introducing that to us, right? And maybe we're going to introduce that to our kids and to our neighbors and to people that, are stressed out, right? That's really wonderful. I actually haven't thought about that. That's really cool. I'm going to have to use that for our next gratitude meditation, where we talk about being grateful for the things people have taught us, right? That's a really amazing thing. Yeah, Rob, I'm oh wow too. That was beautiful. Thanks, Crystal. It was great. So we want to pick a project, right? Maybe you don't know why you're here. That's fine. You're just like, this is cool. This is new. I've heard about it. I want to try it. I have a lot of things that are bothering me. So that's fine, right? So another thing we can think about is what I'll call the stress factor, right? So if you are very stressed in the morning, right, the temptation might be to, well, I'm going to meditate in the morning to not be stressed. But it is very hard to start to do something like this, to introduce something regularly when you're in a panic mode. If you're going to train to run, you're not going to do it when your knee is constantly hurting, So we have to start to get good at these meditation techniques when we're not in crisis mode. So maybe if in the mornings you're not okay, then maybe we're going to consider to do it in the afternoon or after work or something, when you're a little more baseline, right? That doesn't mean that we can't apply these techniques to help us. That's ultimately what we're trying to do. But if we can get good at doing them when we're okay, it's going to be easier for us to apply them in a very difficult situation, if that makes sense. So thinking about what points of the day am I generally doing all right, that might be a good time to start to meditate, to try this. Okay. And then we got to stick to this time frame. We don't want to bounce around. We don't want to be changing. I'll do it in the morning one day. I'll do it in the evening another day. I'll do it in the afternoon the next, because what that kind of sets us up to is to bail on it, right? If we're I'm going to meditate every morning for 5 minutes, right? But then we get up and we have to get our kids ready for school, and we're late for work, and we're like, oh, I'll just do it in the afternoon. That's okay. I'll do it in the afternoon. And then the afternoon comes, we're like, man, I'm just not feeling so good. I'll do it at night, and then night comes and we're like, oh, man, I'm exhausted. Maybe I'll just do it in the morning, right? Like, if we have too many options to ourselves, it's going to be easy to bail on all the options. So one thing that I found really helpful is to just like stick to your time. Pick a time that is convenient, that is achievable for you, and just stick to it for, like however long you want to investigate this and try this to see if it helps you. So I think that's actually really helped me a lot. So hopefully that helps you. And then place. This is another common question. Where should I meditate? Right? You can meditate anywhere. This is the beauty of meditation. You can meditate anytime, anywhere. You don't need any special conditions. This is what we were talking about earlier. There's a huge realization for meditation that you have this in you. You don't need special things. But my advice for where is to pick a relatively quiet place. It doesn't need to be pin drop quiet. That you probably can't find that these days easily. That is convenient. Convenience is everything. Accessibility is the most important thing. Do not go and drive to some tranquil lake that's 40 minutes from your home, because as wonderful as that might be, you're not going to always be able to get there. It's not going to always work out. Like, if you happen to be by one, great. But we want to make it accessible to us. We don't want to set ourselves up to have blockades into building a routine, right? So do it in your home or in a place that's very close by. Maybe you're really close to a park or something like that. But even a park's tricky because if the weather is bad, then like you're not going to the park. So you really got to just find a place that's accessible and like not like there's no construction going on. Maybe is the goal for noise, right? Accessibility, really important. And then I also get a bunch of questions like, can I use an app or music? Like maybe you guys have used Headspace or Calm. There's a ton of great apps out there. The answer is of course you can use those things. Especially if it's something that helps you get into this. We want to, find any way we can to get into this. But sometimes we can start to become attached to the app or to the music. Like we start to think, I can't meditate without this app. I can't meditate without music. And this is not what we're trying to do with meditation. We're trying to realize that everything we have is within us. We don't need special external conditions to do this. So if you use those things, that's great. That's fine. But also try to mix in not using it too. That way we don't start to train our mind to associate relaxing with the app or relaxing with music. We want to try to associate our mind with relaxing with our own self, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. But you can definitely use those things if it's a good kickstart for you. And then the third thing to build a routine, right? So we talked about picking a project, finding an appropriate time and place. And then the third, and this is probably the most critical to start to get used to, is pacing ourselves. We are not good at this. We are very bad at pacing ourselves in anything. But we need to pace ourselves. And we'll talk a little bit about why. This is a common question, like how long should I meditate, right? Right? I hear this a lot. The answer is whatever is consistently sustainable to you, right? If you're like, I'm going to meditate for 45 minutes every morning, right? But you wake up at 8 o'clock and you have to be out the door at 9, this is probably not a great goal for you, right? Because that doesn't leave much room for all the other things you need to do in your life to get ready. So that might not be an achievable goal, right? When we're starting, I think you should do 10 minutes or less to start, right? If you got some extra time and you're feeling good, you want to keep going, go for it. But like 10 minutes or less is totally fine for introducing this. We don't need to commit in a massive amount of time to this to see the benefits, right? It's kind of a misconception of meditation. We have to retreat to a cave and spend hours and hours and days like meditating, contemplating. No, this is not what we need to do. Though the temptation, anytime we're introducing something new into our lives, when we're like embarking on a new hobby or routine or something, is to commit a massive amount of energy to it, right? We talked a little bit about this in one of our other discussions, but the idea of being a waterfall or being a river, right? Waterfalls, massive amounts of energy, right? The water is cascading off of a cliff. The water is splashing everywhere, and some is dissipating into the air, and some is splashing onto the side of the mountain, and right, it's going very fast, but it's kind of chaotic, right? Whereas a river is slower, right? But consistent force. The water will definitely reach its destination, right? Whereas with the waterfall, the water, this water droplet might bounce off and not make it down the waterfall. So we want to be like a river. We want to be like a river, consistent force. And you might be saying, well, I definitely am not a waterfall. I can barely muster up the motivation to do anything. So I'm not a waterfall. I don't have to worry about that. But even if we're not acting like one, we think we should be one, right? Same with multitasking. Like, that's kind of being like a waterfall, multitasking, doing a million things at once, like crazy chaotic, to get it all done, get it done as fast as possible. We think we should be like a waterfall. Why am I not putting more effort into this? If I was a real artist, I would paint all the time. If I was a real writer, I would write all the time. This can lead to burnout. We can start to view our goal as taking away from other things in our life. We can start to view our goal as negative, and then we'll start to get discouraged. We don't want to do it anymore. We start to view it in a negative way. So we don't want to view our meditation routine in a negative way, or we're not going to naturally want to gravitate towards doing it. We don't want to be one of the water droplets that never makes it down the waterfall, right? So it's way better to be like a wide, gentle, flowing river with our meditation routine, or anything really that we're trying to get good at. And everyone's river is going to flow at different speeds, right? And we need to accept what speed our river is flowing at. It's fine, right? The whole concept is that we'll get to where we want to go eventually, in time, naturally. So we need to, if we're kind of a slow mover and we can only do 30 seconds a morning, that's perfect. Good. Do that, okay? Don't try to do 15 minutes, because then that's your waterfall, and you're not going to be able to do it consistently. Do the 30 seconds, right? And then eventually maybe you'll be able to do a minute. Maybe you'll be able to do 2 minutes. Maybe you'll really enjoy this and you'll want to commit more time to it. That'll come naturally. But at first, we need to be honest with ourselves. What is good for us? This is called steadfastness in meditation, and it ensures that we'll reach our goal. Steadfastness is extremely important. Does that make sense? If so, great. If not, I'm sorry. In time, maybe. There's a lot of information, but these 3 things I think will really help you start a routine. Focusing on a project, maybe it's just breathing meditation. Be like, maybe you're totally new. Like, just do breathing meditation. Don't worry about anything else. So we're going to just learn how to relax our mind. We're going to pick an appropriate time and place, right? That's convenient for us, accessible to us, achievable for us. And then we're going to pace ourselves. We're going to not try to be the waterfall. We're going to try to be like the river. Okay? So if you have any questions about that, feel free to ask me either now, later, at any time. And we're going to do it's called a contemplation. Contemplation is like the investigation portion of meditation. So we're going to do a little short breathing meditation to relax our mind again. Maybe it's gotten busy from thinking about all these things. And then I'm going to lead a guided contemplation. Just follow along with what I'm saying. On steadfastness, the importance of pacing ourselves, right? And how pacing ourselves is key for us achieving our goals, achieving the things that we want out of our life, right? Achieving our meditation routine, becoming happier, becoming more peaceful on a regular basis. Sound good? I hope so. Okay. So we're going to sit in a relaxed position, same as before. Or you can switch it up. If you're laying down and now you want to sit up, that's fine. But just be relaxed. Same like we were talking about before. Relax your body. Okay? And then we're going to close our eyes and follow along with what I'm saying. We're going to do a breathing meditation to relax very quickly. And then we're going to do a contemplation, kind of like an intro to what contemplation is on the concept of steadfastness, pacing ourselves. Okay? So close your eyes and relax. Once again, just check in with yourself really quickly. How are you feeling now? Different than before? Calmer? More interested? Maybe something we talked about piqued your interest. Whatever it is, just notice. Just notice how you are feeling in this moment. We are practicing mindfulness, a key technique into becoming happier. Having checked in with ourselves, we can once again turn our attention to our breathing. In and out through our nose. We're going to do the counting meditation again. So we're going to breathe in and breathe out, and then we'll say 1. Breathe in, breathe out, 2. See how high you can count before you lose track. And if you lose track, just start again at 1. In and out, very gently, very naturally, very peacefully. If you notice your mind has drifted from your breathing or you've lost count, just gently guide it back. Guide your attention back to your breath, to enjoying your full breath in and enjoying your full breath out. Keep bringing your attention back to your breath. This is meditation. You are a meditator. How wonderful. How wonderful that you have taken time out of your busy day to train your mind to be happy, to be peaceful, to try something new. So just for a little while longer, enjoy breathing in and out and counting your breaths. After a while of engaging in breathing meditation, we might find ourselves feeling a little more relaxed, a little calmer, a little more peaceful, feeling a little lighter. Whatever your experience is, when you notice it, just enjoy that. Enjoy that experience. This is your naturally peaceful mind shining through, letting you know that it's there, Always. Just enjoy that. And we can use our relaxed mind, or somewhat more calm and peaceful mind, to investigate something. This is called contemplation. Today, we're going to contemplate the importance of pacing ourselves when starting a routine. Steadfastness. So I want you to imagine that you are a little droplet of water in a river, just floating along, enjoying the sunshine, the warmth of the day. And your goal is to reach the end of the river. There are two paths we could take as a little water droplet. One is a waterfall. The other is a longer, windy, gently flowing river. Our temptation might be to take the waterfall, as it will get us to the end quicker. We'll reach our goal more quickly. This is what we think. But when we choose that path, the waterfall, there's the chance that we don't make it to the end. Maybe our little water droplet flies off and dissipates into the air, or flies off and collides with the side of the cliff, and we never make it down the river. The other path is slower, for sure, but it has steady, consistent force. If we choose that path, we will surely make it to the end. We will reach our destination. We will accomplish our goal in time, with patience, with steadfastness. In our lives, when we are trying to accomplish something, trying to introduce something into our routine, there is the temptation to try to be like a waterfall, to try to commit massive amounts of energy dedicated to this one thing. But much like our little water droplet, that leaves the chance that we get burnt out. We don't make it to the end. We start to feel discouraged. It becomes too much for us. It is far better to reach our goals in life with steadfastness, constant, consistent application. It does not matter how fast we move to accomplish this goal. All that matters is that we are doing it consistently. We are like a wide, gentle flowing river moving towards our goal. So just sit with that for a little while. Imagine yourself as a wide, gentle flowing river. You can introduce meditation into your life. You can see the benefits of it. You can be happier, more peaceful, more calm. All by applying consistent effort in whatever way is possible for you to this goal. Just let that sink in for a little while longer. Familiarize your mind with this contemplation, with the realization that it is better to be like a wide, gentle flowing river than like a waterfall. Okay, and when you're ready, you can relax, open your eyes, emerge from the river, so to speak. How'd that go? So that's a little, that's an example of like a contemplation, right? So this is kind of my job in the role of teaching meditation, is to guide you through some of these concepts. Today we did like a visualization, right? We're thinking about with our clear mind, we've cleared away some of the raindrops, and now we're thinking about something. We're thinking about, well, is it better for me to be like a waterfall or like a river with my effort, right? And the conclusion we want to try to come to is that being like a river will make us get there in a more guaranteed fashion, even if it's a little slower, right? So that's kind of the realization we want to have. We want to have this realization that we don't need to be like a waterfall. We don't need to commit massive amounts of time and energy into something, in this case meditation, to see the benefits, to get there, to reach the end, to achieve our goals, to achieve our dreams. Okay? Hopefully that was, if nothing else, pleasant. Any questions about meditation, steadfastness, anything? Abby, very nice. Definitely like the river image. Very calming. Thank you. Thank you for being here. So some people really identify with imagery. So we do that. We do that a lot. A lot of us are like visual learners, and that that'll keep that in the back of your head, right? Because this will remind you the next time you're like in a frenzy trying to accomplish something or whatever. Be like, maybe it's better for me to be like the river. I'll just do a little bit. Work towards our goal a little bit at a time. Consistent. Love the imagery. It's better to be like this in anything we do, yet our worlds are often pushing us to do the opposite. Yeah, everything we have been told is that you're not being productive enough. You need to work harder, do more. What happens when we think that way? We get burnt out. We start to view things negatively. We don't want to view things negatively if we're trying to achieve them. We want them to be a positive part of our life, so we have natural effort. Joy in something brings about natural effort. That's a really cool thing to think about, right? If we enjoy something, then we'll naturally want to do it. So if we enjoy meditating 30 seconds or a minute every morning, we're going to naturally want to meditate. If we don't enjoy meditating for an hour because that's like too much time for us, then we're not going to do it, right? So we have to find something where we can find the joy in it, something achievable. Concurred. Yeah, great. All right, good. So your homework is to start a meditation routine, to think about these things. Like, what's your project going to be? Maybe it's just breathing meditation. That's cool. Do it. That's really where everyone starts anyway. Where's your time and your place? Where's your little happy place you're going to be? And then what kind of a river are you? Are you fast? Are you slow? Like, be honest with yourself. Only you can tell yourself this. I can't figure out which one you are. So you got to be honest with yourself and then stick to that. Just try to stick to that and be patient. Patience is really key for this. We don't like the word patience. Our mind is not familiar with patience at all. We want things fixed, and we want it fixed now. We don't want to wait. But it's not really how things work. So we have to look for small wins, small insights, small gains, and then pay attention to the fact that, hey, we did this. We can do it a little bit more, right? Christina, I guide online meditation for a small group of friends in Melbourne, stage 3 lockdown 2.0. It makes me happy to share my meditations too. So checking out how you guys do it on the other side. But thank you for being here. That's so cool. I would love to talk to you more about like how you approach meditation and teaching it. Maybe we can connect. That'd be great. I would love that if you'd be interested in doing that. My email is keith@meditationbreaks.com. And thank you for being here. It's so cool that you are here from across the world. Sure. Great. Oh, that'd be awesome. Thanks. Okay. So that's enough for today. If you have any other questions, again, email them me. You can leave comments. I'll do my best to get to them in a timely fashion. And if you enjoyed any part of this today, maybe it's thought-provoking or relaxing, a lot of visual. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Good way to approach it. If you found this enjoyable, come back next week, right? We'll talk about something new and bring a friend. That'd be really helpful to me, right? To help kind of introduce this to maybe some of the people around you. And that's good for you, right? You're kind of like paying it forward a little bit. We're all a little stressed. We can all use the techniques here to help us relax a little bit. And if you're so inclined, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. That'll give you some notifications when I'm going live, in case you forget, in case you're having a busy day. So that's helpful to do. And if you are kind of like super into this and you want to do private study, I do private study. I do things for workplaces, for corporate. So maybe you think this would be cool for your workplace during this kind of like odd time where everyone's really stressed. So all these things are available if you're interested in them. Just reach out to me through my email, and we can set something up, and that'd be really great. Keith at meditation breaks. That's it, Rob. Thank you very much. Is there such a thing as being too chill? So we don't want to have inaction, right? And a lot of times people kind of come out of meditation and thinking about this stuff as like, well, this is going to just kind of be me like, whatever, man, like I don't have to do anything. It's all good. Like that's, we want to keep pushing forward to bettering some of the external circumstances in our life, right? Which kind of equates to maybe not being, too chill all the time. Sometimes we have to have a little ambition to get out there and do it, right? But we want to keep in mind that even though we're driving to change some of our external circumstances to improve our life, that the true kind of ultimate permanent happiness we're going to find is coming from within. So we have to like do a little bit of both. But being chill in like a lazy kind of sense is not really what we're going for. But being chill in a like, my mind is calm kind of sense there's no downside to that. Because when your mind's calm, you actually are more productive. You can accomplish things way quicker than when you're in a frenzy. So that kind of a chill we want to be going for 100%. Hundo P. External pressures versus internal interpretation of that reality. Exactly my question. We talked about a lot about this in a couple classes ago, but learning that our happiness, true permanent lasting happiness comes from within is a huge portion of meditation and contemplation. But that does not mean that we don't go out and improve our external conditions. We do it, but we do it knowing that we also have to work on the inside to kind of get that super lasting happiness that we're after. Life, you have to do this. Too chill, I don't want to. Well, some of that is that we're not finding the joy in the things that we feel we have to do, right? And like I was saying before, when we don't have joy, we don't have natural effort towards doing them. So we start to have negative associations with those things. That happens a lot with work, right? So we have to kind of find the joy in those things. And the way that we do that is we bring a calm mind to them. If our mind is negative going into work, then we're going to view work as negative. That's just how it is, because our mind plays a huge part in how we experience the things in our life, right? So we have to do some breathing meditation and start to get good at calming our mind, and then going into those situations with a calm, peaceful mind, and then we might start to find a little bit of the joy in it, and we might not to identify it as a burden on us. Meditation chill, I do it, but it's okay, no biggie. That's beautiful. That's a really good summary of this. Exactly. Like, look, I know I got to do this, but it's cool, right? It's okay, And in fact, doing this life stuff, like work, gives me the kind of resources I need to do some of the fun things that I like. So kind of reframing it in a way. But that's a really good way of putting it, Rob. Thanks for summarizing that. Okay. I've taken up enough of your time, your evening / morning for our Australian friends. So thank you so much for being here. I couldn't do this without you guys. The support has been amazing. The channel's been growing a lot. So thank you for being here. And I hope you guys come back next week. We'll talk about something else. And in the meantime, work on that routine. All right. Something manageable. Be like the river. Okay. All right. Have a good week.